think what's interesting here is normally in efficacy research, it's like, does the product do the thing it says it does, and does it deliver the thing? What we've kind of taken here is a different lens, and we've gone into self-efficacy, and that's that individual belief, not the actual ability of the individual. So how does that distinction play out for students, and why do you think it matters more than people might think?
Absolutely. So I think when we're thinking particularly about college students, at the moment, we know that there are some significant changes in those populations, and they are becoming more diverse and they are becoming more inclusive. But some of those people that are now trying to get through college or trying to have that higher level education experience might not have had the historic experiences to develop the self-belief that they need. They might have high personal self-efficacy in terms of organising their lives and running complicated things and managing being a parent or managing caring responsibilities or managing additional needs, but they might not have had the academic experience to build those academic skills. So belief in your ability within the research is predictive in a number of different ways. We're not saying, if you believe you can fly, you can fly. That's not the same thing here. Self-efficacy is very practical. It's about your ability to reflect on past experiences and predict the future based on that. So if we can build students' academic self-efficacy by reducing obstacles, by giving them positive experiences that they can reflect on, it takes them forward. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, it definitely does. And I think the next one will sort of lead us on to that as well. Because I think in my role here of being really evidence informed at Genio, making sure we're on top of the latest empirical research and evidence emerging, we've seen for a long time that the literature is linking academic self-efficacy to dropout and lower GPA. But what does that look like from your side? Because you've looked at the literature as well as part of this. And is low self-efficacy a cause, or is it a signal that something else is going wrong? From my point of view, it's probably a very complicated picture and it's not one single thing. But from an academic self-efficacy lens, what did you discover when you were looking at this?
Yeah, so the self-efficacy literature goes back primarily to the work of Bandura, and he has this notion of four kind of structural things which build people's self-efficacy, which is mostly through reflecting on past experiences. And I think we've just been talking about, if you haven't had those academic past experiences, then it is much more difficult for you to see yourself within those contexts. So is it a causal signal? Is it a causal connection? There is some research that says yes, it is, but it's obviously not the whole picture. I think it's really easy in research to go, well, yeah, this matters, but this also matters. It is complicated, and it's one of the reasons why educational research is so interesting, because we cannot go, this causes that. What we can say is there are a number of factors, and this is one of them. Issues of belonging are really, really significant around dropout rates, and that ties to something called academic identity. And one of the pillars of foundations of academic identity might be academic self-efficacy. So there is a through line, and I think where we see Genio potentially contributing positively to academic self-efficacy, that in turn, longer term, would support a theory of improving academic identity. One of our respondents in this first study said that within 12 weeks. I think that's pretty exceptional, but I think it's legitimate to sort of start thinking in that direction with future studies, longer term studies. We might see, if you're being more successful, you can see yourself as a student, you can persist. And I think that's probably the mechanism we would want to explore further.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and we're committed to this at Genio. Like, we're already in talks of how we can take this further forward, and we're quite happy to give you that freedom as an independent researcher to let you follow the threads and follow where it leads out. But something that you said there about, like, if you don't see it, if you don't have those experiences, I think it's only right now that we touch on sort of students with additional needs.